But our dollar buys less and less each day the Liberals are in power. After 11 years of Liberals, what we used to take for granted has become totally unaffordable. High Liberal taxes on fuel, money printing, red tape have given us the worst housing inflation and grocery price inflation in the G7. It's pushed millions to food banks, with usage doubling over the last 7 years under the Liberals. Liberal debt taxes and gatekeeping doubled the rent and housing costs, and Mark Carney supported every single one of these policies. Now, in the last election, he promised that he and his party would flip-flop on everything that he had said and they had done for a decade, but it was all an illusion. Mr. Carney said he would spend less. He's spending 7% more than Justin Trudeau. He's doubled the deficit. In fact, outside of COVID, government spending is now higher than at any time in 30 years, and Mr. Carney's deficit is the biggest in history. He said he would get rid of bureaucracy. In fact, he hasn't eliminated a single agency. He's added 12 new ones. He promised that Canada would have the fastest growing economy in the G7. He's given us the only shrinking economy in the G7. The highest household debt in the G7. The worst food price inflation in the G7. The worst housing costs in the G7. The second highest unemployment in the G7. Carney promised to be first. He delivered the worst. He told Canadians that he would build at unimaginable speeds. Nearly a year later, home building is flat, and his own housing agency expects it will drop 18%. Meanwhile, despite Parliament rushing him incredible, unprecedented legal powers to fast-track projects, he's not used those powers to approve a single solitary project. So not a single pipeline is approved. Not only that, the much-discussed pipeline to the Pacific is not only not approved, it has no start date, no route, no builder. The only company that says it might be able to build such a project says that existing Liberal laws and taxes, which Mr. Carney keeps in place, make it effectively impossible to ever produce enough oil to put in that pipeline. Another illusion. People can't fill their tanks with Mark Carney's overseas speeches or fill their grocery carts with his photo ops. They can't eat his press releases, announcements, re-announcements, or fake MOUs. Illusions fill our heads. They don't fill our gas tanks or our grocery carts. Since last month, gas prices have risen 35% across Canada. Now, to be clear and to be fair, the recent increase in gas prices is the result of the war in Iran, but the long-term high costs in Canada are the result of Liberal taxes. And if you want proof of that, look to the fact that gas prices in Canada today are approximately, if you look behind me at this chart, $1.78 versus $1.50 in the U.S. 28 cents higher in Canadian dollars in Canada versus the U.S. You cannot explain that through global factors alone. That is a result of high Liberal taxes and the weak dollar Mr. Carney has given us. Liberals tax Canadians again and again and again for fuel. There's the 10 cent a litre excise tax. Then there's the 7 cent a litre fuel standard tax. Then there is the GST, which actually collects more money for the government the more gas prices go up. And it is a tax not only on the fuel, but on the other taxes, a tax on a tax on a tax on a tax. Mark Carney did not get rid of the carbon tax. He renamed it. He called it the fuel standard. And this week, he told Canadians that he is closely following the rising gas prices. Mr. Carney, no more following. It's time to lead. Lead for affordable gas, groceries, and homes. That's why today I'm calling on the government to suspend all fuel taxes for the rest of the year. A policy that would save 25 cents a litre, about $20 a fill-up, and $1,200 for the average family of four between now and the end of the year. We call on the government to fund this zero tax on gas proposal by cutting wasteful spending, end the $90 billion Alto train disaster, cut back on consultants, bureaucracy, handouts to fake refugees, foreign aid, and bureaucracy. Get rid of the multi-billion-dollar gun grab that targets law-abiding hunters, farmers, and sports shooters. Think about it. Mark Carney has increased spending by $90 billion in 1 year. His increase in spending of $90 billion is net and above and beyond the spending that Trudeau had projected. For 1/20th of that cost, he could eliminate all taxes on fuel, something that would save $5.25 billion for Canadians across this country. Now, other countries have done it. Thank you. She wants her tax cut on gas. Good folks. Thank you. There's someone who wants to pay less for gas. And the Australians are. Look, Australia cut their excise tax, reducing the price by 26 cents. Spain cut their sales tax on gas, 30 cents a litre lower. Ireland cut its excise tax by 20 cents a litre and 20 cents for diesel, 15 cents for gasoline. While other countries are scrapping taxes on fuel and diesel, Carney is hiking the industrial carbon tax and the fuel standard tax. We need not only to do this to lower your cost at the pumps, but to lower everything else. If you got it, a truck brought it. Every single thing you buy has to be transported by truck and train using fuel. By cutting the fuel tax, you lower the cost of everything and make paychecks go further. Conservatives will lower the cost of government to lower the cost of living. We will live within our means, leave more in your pockets, and let you get ahead. We'll unblock our resources, greenlight major projects that are privately funded, and we'll deliver stronger take-home pay for Canadian workers, all to make Canada affordable at home, safe at home, and strong at home. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now take questions from reporters. Please identify yourself and your outlet. One question each, please.
Good morning, Mr. Poilievre. Stephanie Taylor here with the National Post. When it comes to the Alto train project, why didn't your party try to stop this project and specifically the expropriation changes the government made in its Budget Implementation Act? Why didn't your party try to stop this when it had the chance to in Parliament?
We oppose the $90 billion Alto Rail project. We think that it's a waste of money. It's going to drive up the cost of living. Taxes are going to be higher. It will cost every family $8,000 in higher taxes for a project that they will not use. It will ruin communities, many of whom will see the train tear apart land, even though the local residents will not be able to use it, and because the stations are not anywhere close to where they live. So that is why we oppose it, and we've opposed it throughout. We've opposed these kinds of measures throughout the process, and we will continue to oppose it. If when I become Prime Minister, Conservatives will cancel this project and use the money to lower the cost of living, the inflation, the debt, and the taxes. Mr. Carney supported the attack on Iran, and I agreed with him on that. We believe that the theocratic dictatorship in Iran cannot be allowed to get nuclear weapons, that it would be a risk to all of us, particularly if they had intercontinental ballistic missiles. This regime has killed 55 Canadian citizens, 30 Canadian permanent residents when it shot down PS Flight 752. They have, according to Global News, 700 agents working against Canada on Canadian soil. So we believe that it's necessary for Iran never to have nuclear weapons, that the people of Iran should be allowed to rise up, reclaim their country, and bring about a democracy. And were that to happen, that we as a world would be a much safer place.
If you were Prime Minister, what would you do about securing the Strait of Hormuz?
Why does the Strait of Hormuz matter? Because it's a shipping lane for energy. The most important thing we as Canadians could do is right here at home, which is to unblock our own energy. Frankly, our dollar should be at par today because oil prices are so high. But because Liberals have been attacking our energy sector, oil and gas is a much smaller part of our economy, and we're no longer insulated against global fluctuations in energy prices. I would eliminate liberal laws like C-69 that keep oil in the ground. I would remove the shipping ban off the northwest coast of BC. I'd end the liberal industrial carbon tax. I would move to 6-month permitting, and I would make, my goal would be to massively increase production and shipping of Canadian oil and gas. I'd also bring in a energy and minerals reserve so that when these kinds of crises strike, Canadians can sell our oil on the world market to reduce prices for consumers at the same time as we profit from the high prices that foreign economies are paying. That's how we will become affordable at home, strong at home, and have unbreakable leverage abroad. Hi there.
Scarlett Grace with Rebel News. There was a tweet put out by your shadow minister for immigration on Iran and asylum seekers, and I just wanted clarification if you believe that the Iranian people are net abusers of the asylum system, or if you were being more specific to people associated with the regime in Iran, the IRGC. Could you just clarify?
No, the people of Iran are not the problem. We welcome Persian people to our country. We've been very blessed to have a very large Persian population come here. Almost all of them are fleeing from this dictatorial and repressive regime, and we're made stronger by that. We are very outraged, though, that IRGC terrorists have been able to get into our country because of the very poor screening that the Liberal government has applied. So you have, for example, according to Global News, wow, that's very loud, sorry. You have 700 IRGC officials on our streets. Iranian Canadians are telling me they go to the gym and they see thugs from the Iranian regime who are working out there. They're living in mansions that they paid for using money they stole from the Iranian people. They're terrorizing people in Canada. The police have said that there's a homicide investigation now open because an Iranian human rights activist went missing in Canada. It's now being considered a potential homicide. So what I want to do is stop, especially now, we want to make sure that regime thugs do not come in through the weak liberal borders to harass Persians, Jews, and other Canadians. And what we should do is find every regime thug who's here as a visitor, and we should deport them from Canada to protect our wonderful Persian, Jewish, and overall Canadian populations. Thank you.
Graham Richardson, CTV. Let's just assume they're not going to do this. They're not going to go to zero for 2026. A couple of questions. First of all,
don't be so pessimistic.
Well,
Graham.
you
Come
know,
on.
you know. First of all,
he's gotten so cynical over the years.
What's the cost if they did that for the year 2026? If you could clarify that. And do you view this as like you mentioned the other countries that have done something? Is it success for you if they do something on one of the taxes? If it's unrealistic to say to go to zero?
Thanks, Graham. The lower the better. So every penny that we can get reduced in taxes is a penny in the pockets of the people who earned it. You asked about the cost. I like to describe it as a savings. It's $5.25 billion in savings for Canadians. Now, I've already identified some areas that I think we can use to pay for it. Let's get rid of the $90 billion Alto project. Let's get rid of the gun buyback that is targeting law-abiding farmers, hunters, and sports shooters. Mr. Carney's brought in $90 billion of net new spending measures above and beyond his promised savings and beyond what Trudeau was already spending. So what I'm saying is for basically 1/20th of that, he could eliminate all taxes on fuel. Oh, the problem is that the government is too rich and the people are too poor. It's time to have the government pinch its pennies so that Canadians don't have to.